It's Friday, October 12th, and I'm your host, Paula Hersey. On today's show, we have lots of events coming up for Barnstable Recreation and the Youth Council, and we rerun a special segment on fall boating from the Harbor's Master's office. And we have a few reminders on the new recycling rules at the transfer station. First up, some news you can use. Rules and regulations are the words of the day on October 25th. 2 hearings will be held at 10 a.m., one for the new proposed rules and regulations for the Barnstable Dog Park, and also at the same time, 10 o'clock, the Shellfish Constable will review proposed rules and regulations for the management of town shellfish, eel, herring, and natural resources, as well as town shellfish aquaculture licenses. Assistant Harbor Master Jared Smaller rode a wave into the studio in September to relay some boating reminders for the fall season. You guessed right, it's still Friday and it's almost the end of the summer. Not quite. We know that summer's still really here for some boaters. With me today, Assistant Harbor Master Jared Smaller. It's your summer.
It is. It's a nice time of year. It's a little quieter, the weather gets a little drier and nice, and it's great boating weather.
Great boating weather, but there's a lot of things that we have to cover today. Specifically, storms are out there. If people are watching the TV, Florence is battering the Carolinas right now. So what do you want boaters to know about this time of year?
Well, we are right in the thick of the Atlantic hurricane season, and with Florence hitting the Carolinas, and there's more named storms coming across the Atlantic right behind her. We have to be prepared here because we may not get a direct hit for a storm, but there is plenty of peripheral aspects of it as well between storm surge, winds, and rain. I think looking at the long-range forecast next Tuesday, Wednesday, we may see some of the wet weather from Florence. Right. And with that, boaters need to be prepared. Like with the rain a couple nights ago, I should say, and into Tuesday, it's a good opportunity over the weekend where the weather's nice to run your boat, make sure the batteries are charged, check your pumps, things like that. You should do that anytime that we have a significant weather event coming. Also, if we were to get hit with something, you've got to plan ahead. If you're thinking about hauling your boat or having it hauled, we would recommend that you do that. If the thought is coming into your mind, that's what we would recommend. Take all the non-essential equipment off, any fuel tanks that are portable, things like that, any gear that can get adrift and underway and clog a bilge pump or anything like that. Make sure that that all comes off. Also, don't leave any important documents on your boat. Insurance paperwork, titles, binders, anything like that. Make sure you take all of that home with you, because the last thing you want to do is have any of us want you to have is a sinking boat and then have, excuse me, all kinds of the important paperwork that you need on it and not be able to make a claim or identify anything.
Right. And what about tight lines too as well?
Throw an extra line on. That's always a good thing. Our mooring, we keep one of our boats in Prince Cove on a mooring, and I do have a separate line with a hook that can go to the bow eye for it, just so that if we do need a tertiary line to it, you can do that. If you're in a slip, tighten them up a little bit. If you're in a floating dock in particular, if you're in a fixed pier, it might be good to give yourself a little bit of slack so that if there is any storm surge, you have that extra room and you don't scuttle your boat by having it hang up somewhere. Right. But make sure that with that, you're not going to let it too loose that it gets hung up under a pier or anything like that. So you just got to, for lack of a better way to put it, you have to play the game with the lines and how you secure your boat. But if you are ever having a question, hauling is what we would recommend if you think of that. And if you are going to haul and you do have a trailer, now's the opportunity to make sure that all of the things on your trailer are working, whether it be your winch and winch strap, your bearings, good opportunity to grease the hubs and things like that, check the brakes. And when you do haul, give yourself time. Remember, everybody at the boat ramp is there for the same thing. So one at a time, and just be patient.
Be patient. And the other thing that I some people don't realize is once it's hauled and it's in your yard, you're still not done.
No, you're not. Between finding a secure place for it where you don't have to worry about a tree coming down or anything like that, yeah, you'd still have work to do there.
Right.
Yep.
But if you're still there or before you haul it, your pump out service is almost done here.
It is. Our pump out service will be finishing up. The boats finish up for Columbus Day, and the shoreside facilities will run till November 1st or thereabouts when the marinas close. So if you are planning on hauling your boat and you have a holding tank, try to plan ahead, because we will be making arrangements to haul our boats if it comes to that. Right. And the boats will probably go back in, but if you want service, make sure you plan ahead for it. And there are multiple ways between calling the office, calling the boat when we're out. We're out Wednesday through Sunday due to seasonal staff reductions. And then you can always email, and you can click the hyperlink right from the Harbor Master page on the town website for that.
Right, and we have a great video of how easy it is to get your boat pumped out. I mean, that was a fantastic.
It's very simple. You don't need to be there. Just call ahead.
And it costs an enormous amount, right?
It's exactly nothing.
It's free.
Yes.
Absolutely free.
Yep. And if you do call or request service in any of those ways and you're not on board, because we don't require that, we will leave a business card stating that we were there and we did pump your boat.
Excellent.
Yes.
Fantastic. And the last thing you want to cover?
I want to cover the aids to navigation. We will be, ours are all in till at least November 1st, so you will be able to get around the area through then with all of the town permitted aids. But you need to remember that if we do get a storm or any astronomical high tides or a storm surge, please use prudent seamanship and navigation, and don't solely rely on floating aids to navigation. They do move when we get the high tides. We don't have chain and lengths of chain on them to account for that all the time, because then with wind shifts and things, we will miss the channel. So you don't rely solely on those. And if you do see something off station, call us and let us know. And if we had hauled our boats or not, we will get out there and we'll adjust them and put them back on station as soon as possible.
Right. I hadn't realized that when you start thinking about storms, you're just like, oh, those are where the buoys are supposed to be, but not necessarily.
And in any ways. Right. You know, when we just had some astronomical high tides here last week, and I did find a few that were off station. Matter of fact, I moved a couple back this morning because of some wind shifts and tides. So they do move periodically, not too often, but with a storm, it can change that quickly.
Yeah, and there's nothing worse than running aground.
No, there really isn't.
Especially if there's other people watching.
Yeah. Fortunately, I've stayed out of that one for a long time here, but no, it's definitely not fun.
Definitely
you become
not
a spectacle for the day.
Right, exactly. So haul your boat. If you think you're getting a storm and that's what your first thought is, get it hauled out. Yeah. You definitely want to get it pumped out. So, start to think about that. Correct. Now. That service is going to end shortly. And then, just watch where those buoys are.
Yes.
That's why we make maps.
That's correct. And with hauling, again, plan ahead. That's the biggest thing I can say about any type of storm. Take all the loose gear and things that can get adrift off. Fur your sails. Take them off if you can, if you have a sailboat. And plan ahead between hauling companies if you use somebody, and maintenance on your trailer, and patience at boat ramps.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Jared.
Thank you for having me.
Because screen time crosses into all aspects of kids' lives, Screenagers is all about bringing people together to experience the movie and have discussions afterwards. Discussions that promote lasting change. For this reason, the film is not available for home viewing. Join the Cape Cod Cooperative Extension, Barnstable Recreation, and Barnstable Youth Commission. They'll co-host a free screening of Screenagers on Thursday, October 18th at 7 p.m. at the Barnstable High School Performing Arts Center.
A number of us have been concerned over the last few years about the increasing issues we're seeing with kids and screens. And that includes telephones, iPads, laptops, video games, and even TV. So screens cover a variety of media. There's a doctor by the name of Delaney Rustin who was sort of intrigued by the whole idea when she was exploring cell phone use or getting a cell phone for her daughter, and that's how this came to be. She did some research and found that kids are spending about an average of 6.5 hours a day in front of screens, including all of the screens that I already named. She thought that it would be a good idea to do this documentary. She actually filmed it with her own family. And what it does is it sort of offers adults and their children, or the youth in their lives, options for how to navigate the whole digital issue with a little bit more intention and awareness, so that they can't get themselves into as much trouble as they could possibly do without these kinds of ideas. So it's very thought-provoking, and we're really excited to bring it to Barnstable, and it's been sort of a team effort.
I think it's really important for us at the Recreation Division. We work with kids, we work with adults, for our parents and our kids to see that this 86-minute movie might show them something they may not even realize about themselves. Like, they might not realize how much time they're actually spending in front of these screens and these devices and stuff like that. So it's very important to us. We all become so trained just to kind of look at our phone, check our email, check, oh, my phone just vibrates, check my Facebook or whatever, things like that. So we got to we're trying to help people realize how much time they're actually spending, because I think we kind of get dulled down to it. So it's very important to join us on October 18th, 7 o'clock at the Performing Arts Center here at Barnstable High School.
And we will have a little bit of a forum afterwards. We're going to have some discussions about the movie. And Sean Cahill, who was supposed to be here today but is at another school and probably on his way, will be leading the forum. He works for the Sheriff's Youth Department and has a lot of knowledge and expertise in this area too. So please come and bring your teenagers. We really want to see everybody out there, and maybe as a community we can resolve some of these issues.
The event is for, teenagers, obviously, but anyone, kind of grades 4 and up. We sent out flyers to all the schools to attract families of, with kids that age to attend the event. Because, I have 3 kids myself, and, we see kids as early as 2nd, 3rd grade, 4th grade, using Kindles, iPads, wanting to borrow mom and dad's phone, a lot of TV time. So it's anyone, kind of around grade 4 and up. And like we talked about, today, it's just a great way to, realize how much time you are using, these sort of devices, and just to kind of put your phone down and pay attention to what's going around you would be great.
And the studies that they're doing are actually showing that when we put those screens down and pay attention to what's going on around us, youth performances academically and their actual social experiences tend to increase and be more have a lot more quality. So it's really important.
Technological devices and these smartphones that we all have now as teenagers are really something that's beneficial to our education, but we've really started to reach a point where it's become a problem. This incessant need to reach to your phone whenever you just have some sort of stressful situation and relying on it for everything is something that's really gone too far. So although we should not remove these devices, we definitely need to address the problem.
The Barnstable Youth Commission and Barnstable Police Department Community Impact Unit on October 24th at 6:30 p.m. at the HYCC will present a Community Substance Abuse Prevention Forum. A panel discussion will help parents and community members discover red flags, what substances are out there, dangerous household products, and a Q&A with police officers.
We, as members of the Youth Commission, have identified that substance abuse is a serious problem that we face at all ages, especially within our schools. We have been running the Community Substance Abuse Forum for 5 years now at the community college in the spring, but this year we've decided to make it earlier and really try to make an impact, especially amongst parents, informing them what's out there and how to watch out for their own children.
So we'll be holding that at the HYCC this year, which is awesome. The first year that we did have it, we had it at the HYCC, and we had a lot more people showed up. So we're looking forward to having it back there in hopes that it's more accessible for people to get there. It's open to anyone on Cape Cod. It will start at 6:30 on October 24th. The Barnstable Police will be there. We're hoping to have quite a panel set up. And we'll be showing you what's out there, from the jewels to the edibles. You won't physically be able to put your hands on everything, but there's issues in this town that the Youth Commission has physically seen at every school here on Cape Cod. So come on out, get informed, know what's out there, and let the youth and our police department show you what's going on. probably 6 years ago, started to look at what different programs they felt needed to be done and what things needed to be offered to our community. And prevention at the time with the opioid crisis was one of the top priorities. And as a result, after looking at everything, they found out there's no money appropriated at the time. There was less than 1% of any dollar going towards prevention. And that's when the Cape Cod opioid, the HBO special went out, and everybody was so disappointed in that, it didn't show some of the good things that were happening in recovery, but we really needed to start doing prevention, and the youth identified that. And so the first year we tried it at the youth center, and it was packed. We had a lot of people show up. The development of the program has changed a little bit. In the first year, we just showed a film, and then we had someone come in and talk. The Youth Commission enjoyed that, and we had the numbers, but they identified other things that families might want to have. So we had Chris Heron one year. We've had, what's the name of the man? The magician. Do you remember?
Hackinson?
Yes, Hackinson. Robert Hackinson runs Dynamic Influence, and he came down. And we've done definitely a lot of different programs, but last year we had the Barnstable Police, and though the number of people that were there were very low, what they got was well received, and basically they felt there was a major demand for our community to know what, especially our parents and our teachers. Our teachers were horrified by what they saw, that they didn't know was in their classroom. It was in their classroom, and they didn't know it until they went to this program. So it's important that people be able to identify what's out there. It's really hard.
Overall, this program can really be used for anyone. Anyone who can make it in the community, in the area, should really try to be there. I mean, it'll be a very informative event for all. But I believe it has really special value to the parents and the teachers and those who interact with the youth, as it really helps identify what's out there. I mean, things change every month now, so it's really important to be on top of what's out there so you know how to help with the situation.
Yeah, the data that's out there is from 2017 is the last time. They're not keeping up with the data. The data is not what's happening today. So we're reacting, we're all responding to things that happened 2 years ago. It's like we're going into 2019. Things have changed since 2017. So we need to move a little quicker, and this will get the information out quicker.
Do you have questions on what to recycle at the Barnstable transfer station? What plastics or paper to put in which container? Channel 18 went out to the transfer station to talk to Supervisor PJ Kelleher to help you make the recycling changes easier for you and your family. Change is hard. We know that. So we're out at Barnstable transfer station today talking to PJ Kelleher, who is the supervisor here at the transfer station, and looking for you to start separating your recyclables. PJ, this has been coming for a little while. Tell us why.
It's been coming for a little while because, as everyone knows, we are single stream, but the market for single stream has, in lack of a better term, it pretty much collapsed. We're trying to separate it at the facilities and market it so those facilities can stay in business just isn't feasible anymore for them. So we have been trying to get by, but it's at that point where we need to make a change to help us out.
Right. So from single stream, we put all of our recyclables in one bin. Now we're going to start to separate again. And this is where some confusion with our residents are. And let's clear that up for them. So let's start with corrugated cardboard. That was always separated.
Corrugated cardboard, we already separate that out. That is not changing. The locations are staying the same on that. So all the corrugated cardboard you've done in the past is still the same cardboard you're putting into the bin, starting October 1st.
Right, and give me a little example of corrugated cardboard so people know.
The easiest way for corrugated cardboard is your Amazon boxes.
Okay.
If you took the box and you open it up and you look at the flap, and inside the flap you see the wavy ribs, that's considered corrugated.
Okay.
It's the easy way to tell. If you can't tell from the edge, give it a tear and you'll be able to see the waves. If it's not If it doesn't have those ribs, it's a paperboard, regular cardboard, which ends up in another one of our new containers, mixed paper.
Mixed paper, that always makes people's heads explode. What is mixed paper?
Mixed paper is a mixed bag of tricks. It has anything you can think of for paper: office paper, newspaper, the Stop and Shop flyers, the mail you get. That all goes into the mixed paper bin.
Magazines?
Magazines, same thing, right
How
into the
about
bin.
envelopes with cellophane windows?
If you could rip the cellophane window off, put that in the trash. It's that thin film plastic that is the biggest enemy when it comes to recycling.
Okay.
If that could get pulled out as best you can, you don't need to, if you can come off one fell swoop, put it into your trash, that'd be great. And then take the envelope, throw it right into the mixed paper bin.
Okay, we have been separating tin and aluminum for a little while
Yes.
here, so let's just review with folks what is acceptable for
All right.
metal and tin.
Yeah, starting July 1st, a few months ago, we started taking the metal and tin cans out of the single stream. For a variety of reasons, they carry weight to them. It lowered our weight on the single stream. Also, metal continually has a value. It fluctuates just like anything else. So the metal food cans, if you have a tuna can, a soup can, the pineapple juice cans, coffee ground cans, all of those, what goes into the metal bin. But the biggest thing is they need to be rinsed out. You have to rinse them out, give them a wash through, then throw them into the bin. If they're wet with water, that's not the big deal. It's the food residue and all that causes, like anything else, mold, stickiness, and then that can contaminate the load.
Not to mention critters.
Yeah, and problem we're running into right now is the ones that people aren't washing out are attracting bees this time of year. So
Okay.
we're doing what we can. We're trying to come up with some new ways to keep the bees away. So, be careful as you come up to the bin. We're working on it as we speak to try and make it better for everybody.
Okay, and labels on cans, is that okay?
If you can peel it off with anything else, it's great. If it's stuck with the glue, it's stuck. There's
It's
really
stuck.
not much you can do.
Right. Okay, so we've done mixed paper, we've done corrugated, we've done aluminum and tin, and everybody's favorite, plastics.
The biggest question we've been getting on the phone calls and emails is plastics. All your plastics, 1 through 7, are going to go in the bin. There's a couple things, everything with plastic, there's always something. There's
Right.
always a exception to the rule. Styrofoam by name, there's all the technical names. That's the name everyone knows it by. The packing peanuts. Those are plastic, but they are not recyclable. Those are a big contaminant. Right now, there's nowhere to get them recycled. Unfortunately, they do end up in the trash. That's where we need you to put them. The bulky rigid plastics, big wheels, little kid playhouses, the 5-gallon buckets, those don't go into the plastic bin. Those go into our demolition pile. So if you do have those items, stop at the gatehouse. As with our demolition, if they are very large and have a lot of weight, there may be a charge to them. Without seeing the items, we can't really give an idea on it. But stop at the gatehouse, they'll direct you where to put them. 5-gallon buckets though, with the big thing is reduce, reuse, recycle. A 5-gallon bucket, you can use it for tons of stuff. You can use it to carry your recycling in.
Yep.
Most of them have a handle. You use it, dump it. You can use it for our food waste. Bring it in, dump it, especially if it has a cover, to be a great way to do it. So a 5-gallon bucket can be reused, which reduces the recycling of it.
Right. Now, a question that we've always come across as well is that under the recycling number, sometimes there's little words like PETE. What do those mean, and is the item still recyclable?
I can't recite them to you right now, but that just describes the type of plastic it is. HD, EP, if I get the numbers right, high density polyethylene plastic.
Right. But if it still has those letters, is it still recyclable?
Still recyclable.
Okay.
Any questions, you can always ask one of the attendants we have. Feel free to give us a call. But there is a beautiful website, Mass DEP just started, recyclesmart.org. It has a little clip that describes what's going on with the recycling, and it has a tab on the top called Recyclopedia. Open the tab up, you can type in whatever item you have. It gives you a list as you're typing, like in a search engine, and then it tells you whether it's recyclable, what you can do with it, or it even gives other uses you could have for it.
That's fantastic. One last thing, because I don't think we talk about it enough, is that you are composting food waste here.
Yes, food waste is something we started last year. It has picked up a lot of steam as this year's gone on, as people realize We have it. It's covered by your recycling sticker. It's covered by the trash sticker. You're allowed to use it. It's on our recycling line. It's the very last shed on the line. We have on the website what items you can put in there. And essentially what it is, your food scraps, your table scraps. If you can, I'll give you the ways people do it. They have buckets they use that they put it into. They put them into large Ziploc bags, put it in the freezer till they can come in. And then we have giant toters in there. Drop the food waste in. We do put a trash barrel there in case you brought it in a plastic bag. You can throw that into the trash. And we have Watts Family Farm that comes, picks it up. They end up turning it into compost and reusing it for the items that they do at their facility, from animals that they have to regular old compost.
But really, what we can do is start to reduce and renew,
Yes.
and obviously recycling, it will be a change, but you guys are gonna have some containers here for folks that haven't gotten the message yet?
Yes, we are still gonna keep open 2 single stream containers for a period of, say, 60 days. We're gonna work on phasing them out as, the people start to notice how we do it and get their setup at home, how they're gonna do it. And we'll start phasing them through, and then after 60 days, we're gonna be completely separating everything out.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, PJ.
No problem. Have a great day.
Here's a look at the community calendar. Boo! It's the not-so-scariest Halloween event on Saturday, October 20th from 11 to 1:30 p.m. at the Barnstable Intermediate School Cafeteria. It's magic, mystery, and spooky fun for the whole family with a trick-or-treat hunt, and make sure the kids come in costume. Comments, suggestions, accolades? Connect with us on Facebook and Instagram. Email us or send us an old-fashioned note by carrier pigeon. Channel 18 works for you. I'm Paula Hersey, and thank you for watching Barnstable Today.